Hello everyone and welcome to our latest project video. We call this the Crackling Plaster Fairytale Sunset, and today I'm going to take you through the process of using Posh Chalk Crackling products, Athenian Plaster and stencils. So, to start the project off, SollyJo first applied a base coat of Pepper Blue by Magic Paint to the whole canvas using a Posh Chalk Wax Extender brush. She then used a Posh Chalk Smooth and Blend brush to apply a coat of Posh Chalk Crackling gel to the entire surface. This brush is perfect for ensuring that coat is equally applied. Next, she decanted some Posh Chalk Crackling paste into convenient pots so she can create a range of different coloured pastes using the Posh Chalk colour kits. As you can see, the paste is very stiff when it is first opened, but will become much more fluid once you begin stirring it. Once she had a few pots of decanted paste, SollyJo began gradually adding Posh Chalk colour kits to create the shades of colour she wanted. She added bright scarlet and dandelion yellow to her first pot. After mixing it, she saw the red was drowning out her yellow, so she added a little bit more to arrive at a nice orange colour. To her next pot, she added Pine Forest, however she wanted a darker shade of green than this created, so she mixed in a little bit of Ebony Noir. This darkened the mixture too much, instead creating a shade of olive, so she used some dandelion yellow and Aegean Ocean to balance this out. For her third pot of paste, she combined Aegean Ocean and Royal Indigo to create a dark shade of blue. She then decided she wanted a lighter blue as well, so she mixed the fourth pot with Aegean Ocean before adding a little Pine Forest to give it a slight turquoise tint. Now SollyJo had mixed all of her colours, it was time to start applying them. She lightly wet a sea sponge using a water spritzer and then began dabbing her colours onto the canvas. This dabbing method with a sponge is done to create unique textures and patterns on the surface. As she moved up her canvas, she applied all of her different colours in blocks to mimic how a sunset looks. She used the same sponge for each colour and allowed the sections to overlap slightly. This, combined with the damp sponge, allowed the colours to blend in situ on her canvas, creating interesting new shades and tones. Once she was satisfied with the application of her coloured pastes, SollyJo flattened the raised texture that had formed using a Posh Chalk premium finishing trowel. She did this horizontally on the canvas to preserve the sunset effect she'd created, and cleaned her trowel in between each stroke to prevent the colours mixing more or causing any other imperfections. She then dried the entire canvas with a heat gun. You can see all of the cracks starting to form before your eyes. Before continuing, SollyJo had to sand down the entire canvas. This is done to ensure that our stencil would have a flat surface to adhere to, which prevents the chance of bleeding. Due to the cracks on our surface, SollyJo then had to brush off the excess dust that had gotten caught in them before moving on to the stenciling process. To match with the Fairytale theme of the project, she had selected the Posh Chalk Oriental Garden Premium Stencil. This was then mounted onto the surface with spray glue and flattened down. SollyJo then decanted some Posh Chalk Athenian Plaster and coloured it with the Posh Chalk Ebony Noir and Mocha Delight colour kicks. Once it was thoroughly mixed, this created a lovely dark grey colour, which you will use with the stencil to create a silhouette in keeping with the sunset theme of the piece. This mixture was then trowelled onto her surface on top of the stencil. The Posh Chalk premium finishing trowels are very effective for stenciling, as they allow you to conveniently ensure that the application is completely equal across the whole stencil. Once she was satisfied with the amount on her surface, she peeled off the stencil and force dried the freshly applied Athenian plaster with a heat gun. The next step then for this project was applying the WoodUbend applique WUB 2280. SollyJo pre-painted the applique using the dark grey Athenian plaster mixture that she'd created earlier, as well as a Posh Chalk mouldings brush. She also lightly spritzed it with water first to ensure that that coloured plaster got into all of the applique's nooks and crannies. She then dried this with a heat gun, which at the same time warmed the applique up enough for it to be ready to adhere to the canvas. Some WoodUglue by WoodUbend was then spread across the entire footprint of the applique, and this was briefly heated again to activate the glue before SollyJo firmly pressed it into place. In order to do some detailing on the piece, SollyJo then decanted some orange gold and smoky charcoal Posh Chalk pigments onto an old WoodUbend board, before gradually adding Posh Chalk pigment infuser to mix them together into a paste. At first, the orange gold was very overpowering, so she kept adding smoky charcoal as well as infuser until she arrived at the desired shade. SollyJo then dry brushed this pigment mixture onto the door frame section of her applique. She then darkened the mixture with even more smoky charcoal pigment and dry brushed this onto the main door panel of her applique. SollyJo wanted the Athenian plaster stenciling she'd done to have a really glossy, polished finish. So, she started sanding the surface with a belt sander, gradually moving up in sandpaper grits with every pass. You can already see it's glimmering in the light. The final step to complete this project was adding some shading. SollyJo opted to use the Posh Chalk black patina for this, applying it around the applique and the edges of the canvas itself. This created a very defined line, so she then feathered the shading out across the surface using a Posh Chalk wax extender brush and Posh Chalk patina extending wax. This not only helps contribute to the glossy finish she wanted, it also acts as a sealant, providing the piece with an extra layer of protection. Finally, she wiped off any of the excess wax with a paper towel to avoid it drying in a clump. So, here is the result. We were really happy with how this one turned out, but please let us know in the comments section what you thought of this design, and if we inspired you to start your own project, let us know. We would really love to see it. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave us a like, it really helps us out. And if you want to see a new project video every single week, press that subscribe button. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!